Wait, can I actually hear me? Okay, perfect. This is episode 5, I think. I'm pretty sure it's 5. And if I remember correctly, last episode I didn't wait because I knew that I was going to wait no matter what at the start of the next one. Just to be sure. Yep. I think this will be the last farming episode. I think I will have most of what I need. So, you know, this also will probably be a longer episode. I don't know, I might take a break
I have a feeling that
a while in,
about to become very
so it might end up as separate episodes, but or I might just upload like a 4 or 5 hour video. Who knows?
Awful creatures.
Beasts. I hate the
Yeah. Wait, I waited once, so this is the second wait, I think. Yeah, what is else there to really say? Not much. I mean, if you've seen any of the past episodes, you know exactly what I'm doing. I'm just continuing to farm the alchemical ingredients from Odo Farms to make potions. I got to 100 alchemy last time, which means I can make like 9,000.
Good to see you.
What's going on?
9,000 gold per run. So that will skyrocket my mercantile. I'll skyrocket my mercantile. And yeah, I think once my mercantile gets to 100, I think that should be a good enough spot. I'm going to level up my restoration to get it to about 50, because I think 50 is a, you know, generally a good spot. I need to be able to craft some
What's going on with you?
decently
I ran into some
powerful
goblins in the woods not long ago. Nasty.
restoration spells.
I hate the things.
Goodbye.
Let me check this
How
guy's
about mixing up
inventory
some
real quick.
potions? You look like
You
quite the
never know
alchemist.
when you might need a good, strong potion. Best to
I
stock up
do
now
never
while
know.
you can.
I don't think his inventory refreshed. I still think I need just the, yes, the alembic. An apprentice alembic would be nice. He is selling, I don't think this is anything, yeah, nothing that I really want. I don't think his inventory
Take
refreshed,
care.
which is fine. I think it's on a longer cycle. Yeah,
I'd like to learn more about spell casting.
just
Might have
gonna
to head
be
over to
running
the
back
mage's
and forth.
quarters.
I can already tell that I'm getting like slightly faster and I can jump more. You know, it's getting closer and closer. It's asymptotically approaching how I felt before, the speed that I felt. Because when you start Oblivion, this game does not feel like smooth to like run around and jump in. It feels very clunky, and I think that's at least partially by design. You know, even if it is an old game. It's kind of funny, you know, Fallout 3 and New Vegas and Oblivion, they weirdly have like better movement than this guy's one of the brothers, right?
You've got some nimble fingers. What have you been getting?
Yeah, it's weird that Fallout 3, Oblivion, and New Vegas have a weirdly responsive movement system. Like, particularly, you'll notice it while jumping and trying to move in air, because you can mid-air strafe in Fallout 3 and New Vegas, and even though it's not realistic, even though the kind of, you know, the movement systems in like Fallout 4 and Skyrim to an extent are more realistic. That is, like, you can't like just strafe mid-air. There's more of a weight to like turning as well, particularly in like third person. You know, I was doing my Fallout 3 in New Vegas, you know, Permadeath 100% runs. I was very frequently like switching between first and third person, or just staying in third person, because it gives you that wider field of vision. Yeah, and then I guess you don't really jump around too much, mainly because you're like crouching everywhere in that, because you can tell whether or not you're detected, you know, kind of immediately when crouching. You can still sort of hear, but it's, you know, And Fallout 3 New Vegas, it's like caution or danger. Like, it's very informative, and all you have to do is just crouch for a half second. So a lot of time is spent just crouching. But anyway, when you do jump and so on, there's a lot of like in-air like control and just like jumping around. Particularly if I'm not in a place where I'm in any danger, I'll be like jumping around and and then like I'll like jump and then I'll like crouch for a bit just to make sure nothing is running at me. And I'll just be like also moving around in third person. You see, like, I don't know if this is true in original Oblivion. Should probably pick these instead of doing that. But in like Fallout 3, like you like turn immediately. Like you see the characters, there's like a bit of a delay when turning, and that's really noticeable in Fallout 3 or Fallout 4 in Skyrim. And it is more realistic. It's more realistic, like turn speed. You don't like turn immediately. I mean, you still turn quite fast in first person and all that, but I've noticed it more in third person, like your character model actually turning, as well as like the in-air like mobility. Like in Oblivion, it's kind of weird. It starts out more like Skyrim and Fallout 4. You're kind of like sluggish. You don't like can't really move while you're jumping, and then eventually you have high enough acrobatics and speed and all that, and you can fortify acrobatics and speed that you can really strafe mid-air while jumping because your jump is so high and you can move. You're just moving so fast. So it starts more like Skyrim and Fallout 4, and then kind of ends up being more like Fallout 3 and New Vegas. Honestly, it ends up being even better than those. You move really fast, towards the end game of Oblivion. Maybe it's the best feeling movement, and it's not realistic. It's not realistic at all. But it's like fun. It's enjoyable. That's why I prefer Fallout 3 and New Vegas. Movement-wise. And these games aren't like known for the smooth movement or their the precision FPS gameplay or whatever. But I actually think, I think it can be quite satisfying to move around and shoot in those games, contrary to popular opinion. Whereas I feel like Skyrim and Fallout 4, while they are more realistic and they add things like sprinting, I feel like the lack of responsiveness is something I dislike, particularly when in third person. Because in third person, often, like in Fallout 3, like go to third person, then like immediately look around to see if something's following me. Yeah, I just like being able to do that. Whereas in
How goes it? Well met.
Fantastic.
in Skyrim and Fallout 4, you can't really do it. Oblivion, you sort of do it. It's still that sluggishness doesn't completely go away, even with like max speed or anything, but it's not super sluggish. Yeah, it's more like, I don't know. It's more manageable. Although I do think that there's less reason to be in third person in the Elder Scrolls games, because mainly you're in third person because in Fallout 3 New Vegas you can just get shot from anywhere. If someone has a sniper, or if some like really fast enemy is running at you, you kind of want to play distance. Distance is the greatest defensive mechanism. But in Fallout 3, I mean, in Fallout New Vegas, and all the Fallout games really, I mean, they can shoot you. So I guess, my main criticism is actually Fallout 4. I kind of wish that it retained that fluidity of jumping, or that kind of responsiveness when in third person and when jumping around, even if it isn't realistic. And I understand why they changed it. Restore fatigue. I understand why they changed it, but kind of wish that they didn't all the same. Kind of wish that they had made it a little more fluid. I do hope in the next iteration of, in Elder Scrolls 6 and in Fallout 5 that they kind of bring the shooter side of the game for Fallout / the melee combat side, or just the combat in general. I hope that they approach the combat with fresh ideas, because I think the biggest criticism of these games, not one that I I levy against the game that much, but that people in general do, is the combat systems are just dated in many ways. Of course, I mean, it makes sense for Oblivion Remastered. It's from 2006, so you wouldn't really expect it to not be dated.
What can I interest you in?
But yeah, Fallout 4 is, I think, the game I have the most, that I have a gripe with this more than any other game. It just feels really slow when in third person, and being aware of the situation because enemies can shoot you from a distance, and there are some like very fast and deadly enemies, like death claws and the like. Awareness is more important than I think it is in like Fallout or in like the Elder Scrolls games to some extent. Just because a lot of enemies will melee you, they have to like run to you, so you'll be alerted by the battle music before they get to you probably. How many can I sell at a time here? 48? No. 42. So yeah, I hope that they
That's more than I usually pay.
I have quite a few hopes for Elder Scrolls 6. But ultimately, I think as long as they stay true to the Elder Scrolls games and the way that they've been in Morrowind, Oblivion, Skyrim, I think if they deliver on a similar experience, even if the combat is, generally the same with a few new bells and whistles, I think it'll still be a fantastic game, and I'll love it immensely. But I think it is a pretty justly levied criticism of the Elder Scrolls games and of Fallout. But anyway, I actually think Fallout 3 New Vegas, weirdly, it's not like up to par with modern FPSs by any means, but I actually genuinely enjoy like the combat and the shooting, particularly because when shooting scoped rifles from long distances in Fallout, you have to know to account for the fact that they didn't properly position the crosshairs on the scopes models for scoped weapons, so you have to aim like down and to the left. So I kind of like that there's this like knowledge factor to it where you kind of learn how to shoot and where to aim exactly to actually hit the headshots from a distance. And yeah, it's not like PvP. It's not like a game that needs to have shooting mechanics on par with PvP games. So I think it actually ends up being quite satisfying from like from the perspective that you're mainly like stealth shooting. You're kind of cautiously creeping around these enemy bases or these caves to then like stealth headshot some enemy. Fallout, to me at least in how I played it, and the vast majority of my playthroughs, is more about like more of a stealth game than Skyrim, and the whole stealth archer meme. So yeah, and I think that's just sort of the play style that one naturally tends to when they're trying not to die. Distance between you and danger is always the greatest defensive layer. And the same is true for Oblivion and Skyrim, the Elder Scrolls games in general. And it is nowhere more apparent than in permadeath runs. Although that said, Oblivion is exploitable enough that eventually I will just be running up and stabbing things because I will not really fear for my life. This guy on lunch, on break. Another hour. See if he has an alembic. There you are. Engalamo. That's what I'm gonna call him. Engalamo. Should probably have memorized his name, given how much he's helping me. Alchemy gear. Nothing that I need. Nothing that I really care too much about. Let's see. Okay. If it doesn't have it, it doesn't have it. Restoration's leveling up pretty quickly. I think that's already 8 levels.
I'm here to relieve you.
Hi there.
These odd noises coming from Yugal, the rat's place.
Yeah. To conclude my Fallout movement tangent, is that I think those games, Fallout 3 and New Vegas particularly, they kind of hit a nice sweet spot where the combat in the game still feels enjoyable many years, past its release date. 'Cause I think VATS also is a cool combat system. It's like this mix of this tactical, turn-based RPGs of Fallout 1 and Fallout 2 with more modern, shooting mechanics. So I like it. It's a unique combat system that I think, yeah, I like the mix of tactical but also like real-time movement and all that. So I do hope that they still allow for, I still hope that they add in like Fallout 5 like sliding or, more dynamic sprinting or something like that. Not that I really know what dynamic sprinting means in this context. I think the sprinting in Fallout 4 is actually fine. And I guess it's good that it kind of shares a resource pool with the VAT system. I didn't like Fallout 4's VATs nearly as much, to be honest. I also didn't really like the whole luck and like criticals are only in VATs beyond sneak criticals. I didn't really like that aspect of Fallout 4. So yeah, I think the movement and the combat generally holds up. It's fun. It's fun just blasting things with like a sneak crit shotgun attack in Fallout 3. That's always a lot of fun. I think there's a lot of like cool weapon designs in those games that make it so the combat is still quite fun. Does make me really excited for the Fallout 3 remaster because I mean they added sprinting in Oblivion. I feel like sprinting makes even more sense in a shooter. So yeah, if the leaks are true, which I believe them to be, considering I'm playing Oblivion Remastered right now, I hope they give the Fallout, I hope they give Fallout 3's movement system a look at. I hope it retains some of its charm. I don't want it to be like Fallout 4 exactly. I like the responsiveness of the third-person camera. And like the turning of the character. Like in Fallout 3, your character like instantly turns as you move it. There's only like a slight delay here. But anyway, I'm repeating myself at this point. But yeah, I hope it retains some of the movement. Or I mean, if they give it like a really enjoyable movement system, kind of built from the ground up, with like modern FPSs, modern PvP shooters in mind, I think that would be fine as well. I don't think that would be a bad thing to change ultimately if, even if I am somewhat nostalgic for that old system. I mean, I 100% will do a permadeath 100% of Fallout 3 Remastered. It's like my favorite game ever. And I enjoy doing it. I enjoy doing it with the original game, Fallout 3. Quite fun. I also like Fallout 3 in some sense more than New Vegas from the perspective of like a permadeath 100% run because partly because I think you get to a point where you're really tough to kill. Not completely invincible, not like Oblivion, but also because 100%ing really is the part that I like more. Fallout New Vegas has like a lot of like random objectives, like the Gunrunner's Arsenal, like achievements, things that aren't really quests in the game. And also you can't complete all the quests in one playthrough, whereas in Fallout 3 you can. So just from like a bookkeeping perspective, it was a little more annoying for Fallout New Vegas. I do hope that if they make them, that they make both of them though. I don't know if they would really do it. I mean, there's the Tale of Two Wastelands mod, which has both Fallout 3 and New Vegas kind of seamlessly put together. I'd love if they did. I don't expect it. I don't expect them to update both games and then make it possible to link them together. And I think that will be some point of annoyance or uproar within the social media sphere, the gaming social media sphere. I think people would just be angry that I can't play New Vegas. But here's the thing, if they do remaster Fallout 3, then they can take the Fallout 3 remaster and probably... Actually, I don't know. Could modders then incorporate Fallout New Vegas? I would naively say yes. But I don't know how difficult that would be. And I'm probably underestimating the difficulty now that I say it out loud. But I would think that in principle it would be possible. But I am not a modder. I am not a modder. 78,000.
Good day.
I reached my original goal, which is great. But I'm going for 100 mercantile now. Do do do. One for 100 mercantile now. That was day one. I'm gonna have to wait like an extra half day. Actually, I should probably do the run, then wait an extra half day. So, okay, 3 levels. I don't think it scales linearly with amount of goods sold, or the value of goods sold. So I can't really extrapolate from my current rate, but if I did, that would mean about 6 more runs. Because I need 17 levels, I'll get 3 levels a run, 3 times 6, 18. I'm going to say it's probably going to take more than 6 runs, probably going to take 7 or 8. Need to rest one more time, I believe. Or wait one more time, I believe. Okay, and after this wait is done, I'm going to pause real quick, a few minutes, to go do something. Be a nice time to grab some food. That's what I'm gonna do. Hungry. See, he's still there? No, he just finished his work day. Okay. I'm going to tab and leave it at that, and I will be back in a few minutes. And then because this is a YouTube video, you can probably just skip ahead a few minutes until I come back. Ah, all right, I'm back. Have to take up my jacket. Man, wireless headphones. I didn't realize how much of a game changer they were. I really didn't. And people say wireless mice are also a real game changer, but I didn't believe them. But who knows? I mean, I really like this wireless headset relative to all my past headsets that have been wired. Never really had a connectivity problem. Never really had, I mean, a power like. I mean, it's never really ran out of charge. I don't even know what the max power battery life of this is. Be sipping on this. I'll probably mute myself when I actually sip on it, but I'll be sipping on a milkshake. Not exactly the healthiest thing to get, but I haven't had one in like months, and I was craving it. Anyway, okay, I waited. Go do the run. Go do the run.
Yes. To see you.
What?
What's going on with you?
I saw a
Do
mother.
do do. What was I talking about before? Yeah, I'll probably intermittently mention things about my Fallout 3 New Vegas runs, because I enjoyed those a lot, and those had their moments, but probably won't record a playthrough of it until the remaster comes out. Yeah.
Hi.
That guy say hi to me. Yeah, those games are a lot of fun. Don't know if I'll do... I guess another thing I was talking about, there's a lot to talk about with this, is The Elder Scrolls 6. I certainly won't do a one life playthrough to start. All these one life playthroughs, and my general philosophy on any one life playthrough of any game is really that there are two types. I mean, really every one life has both of these, but usually a one life leans one way or the other. And it's either an execution heavy one life, or it's a planning heavy one life. And so all these games, Elder Scrolls, all this, you know, Fallout, really any massive open world RPG, these sorts of games are very planning heavy. They don't require that much execution, particularly I think Oblivion Remastered. I think if you kind of retrace my exact steps, most players would be able to do exactly what I'm going to do and be able to beat it, you know, beat this on Master Mode without dying. And then I take it, you know, the reason that I do 100% is that I believe that, like, really it's all about planning. And, you know, there are some more dangerous quests. There's the Henneteer's Dream through a Nightmare Darkly, where you lose all your equipment. That is a little scary. And there might also be other quests that I haven't looked up. I haven't looked up every single quest that I'm going to do, which is every quest. So there could be a few others that are scary. Yeah, but like I said, it's more about planning. It's about looking at the wiki, preparation. If you do it blind and you're also trying to do 100%, it's really difficult just because there are, you know, there are like certain quests. Like for instance, the Grey Prince. There's a quest to go discover his, you know, his I think I have the quest actually, don't I? Yeah, Origin of the Grey Prince is literally what it's called. And if you beat the arena before you do that, then, I mean, you can't 100% the game anymore. So there's a lot of, like, fail conditions that aren't really deaths, but, you know, you'll no longer be able to do, you know, at 100%, and that requires planning. I think you could do a blind, like, if you're just doing, like, a blind, normal... Well, if you're doing a blind playthrough, even on Master, of just the story, like Oblivion, Still would require some planning because the story has quite a few difficult battles if you're unprepared. A lot of enemies can spawn all at once, and if you don't have the proper defenses to deal with them, you will probably get destroyed. So, yeah.
How about mixing up some potions? You look like quite the alchemist.
Oh, I am. So yeah, I think all the Bethesda RPGs are really, they're more planning centric. You know, if you can, you know, if you're willing to look through the wikis and look at the quests and understand the game mechanics, I think is a really important point, and understand how to get as powerful as you can, as quickly as you can, like I'm doing, then it's pretty easy to I think, permadeath, you know, do a permadeath run of these sorts of games. In contrast, I think there are certain games, and these are may even be the more popular type of game to do permadeath runs of, are games that are execution heavy. Now, execution heavy games also will require some planning, typically, not always. If they're like super execution heavy, that means that you just kind of have to be skilled enough to do whatever you need to do, beat whatever you need to beat the game, and no amount of planning is really going to kind of save you in that regard. So yeah, and I would say, what's a good example? I haven't actually done too many permadeath anythings before. Just Fallout 3, New Vegas, which I, you know, hardest difficulty and 100% of those. And then the only two other ones that I can think of right now are, I did Minecraft, which Minecraft was really not that difficult. You know, hardcore, hard difficulty Minecraft was, from what I recall, I mean, the Ender Dragon, there was like a bit of, you know, I don't think it was super close calls, but I got maybe down to like half health, but I had enough, like, you know, like golden apples or potions or whatever, that I was generally pretty safe. And I think if you prepare well enough for that, you'll be fine. Minecraft, I guess, is more on the preparation side. It's not very execution heavy. You need to be, you know, aware of certain things, like don't look at the Enderman, or if you do, you need to have like a contingency plan. Fantastic. But thanks for asking. You know, that's really still planning and not as much execution. So yeah, the only game that I'd say that is more execution heavy was I did a no true death run of Sekiro. If you're familiar with Sekiro, there's a resurrection mechanic as part of the game. And so I was initially trying to do a no death run, and then when so no death at all, or so no resurrection, I should say, to delineate the two. So there's a no resurrection one, which means not only do you not die, like have a true death, like have to restart a boss fight or something, you also have...
How are you today?
Fantastic. Thanks for asking.
You also never use the resurrection mechanic in game. Ooh, I had a feeling. Oh wait, I never sold them.
I saw that.
Did I? I never made all my thing. How many days have I waited?
Today hasn't been the same.
I hear you.
Goodbye.
I got the potion crafting effect on me.
What is it, associate?
I'll just talk to you. I think I had to wait one more day. Getting all out of sorts now. Okay. Just double check. Yes. So it seems you can only really sell me up to common, but common is fair, fine, fair enough, good enough. Let me craft all these potions now that I have all apprentice gear. Yeah, so Sekiro, there's two types of deathless runs. There's no true death, which means you'd die when you've run out of resurrection nodes, and then there's no death at all, or which I would call a no resurrection run, which is where you don't even use the resurrection mechanic at any point. So I did the first one. I did die. I will probably eventually try to do a no true death run. I really do love Sekiro. It's a fantastic game. So yeah, that's the only one that I did, and I got really into Sekiro, so it wasn't too difficult. I had also done all the boss gauntlet. There's a boss gauntlet that you fight like all 17 bosses back to back, all the main bosses. So I did that as well. And so doing the no true death run didn't actually take too many attempts, because I think it was really down to execution. I didn't plan anything with that run. I was just like, oh, I'm gonna try and do it without dying, because I've just been playing it a bunch. I've beat every boss with these optional difficulty modifiers, which is with Demon Bell active and without Kuro's Charm. And so yeah. Anyway, long story short is that one was more execution focused. I didn't do like any planning. It was just like, I know these bosses well enough. I've played a bunch of Sekiro. I can just kind of attempt it. And so those kind of games, I think another example would be, like a One Life of like the Dark Souls games. If you know the moves of the bosses, it's also a bit of planning to say like, oh, where's the best weapon, before I fight this boss and all that. If you really want to kind of break it down, but I think people get to the point of, people who really love those games get to the point where it's not really weapon dependent. They don't have to like search for what weapon's best for each boss. They can kind of just say, well, I'm good enough that I know the boss itself, to the point where I don't, whatever weapon I have, as long as it's like appropriately scaled, will just be fine, because I won't be, I'll barely be getting hit by the boss. So, anyway, two types of One Lives. Execution versus, I didn't sell these yet, did I?
I have potions.
Execution
and everything you need to make
versus...
your own. What will it be?
Wait, did the power of the potions go up at all? Interesting. I don't know if there's...
You've made a good bit of
Actually, I
gold.
don't even remember what the alembic actually does. So maybe it just didn't really impact it. Because one of the alchemical equipment like reduces the negative side effects of something. Like if you make a potion that has like a good effect but also has a negative effect, it reduces the negative effect. So maybe that's what the alembic did. Maybe that's why it doesn't seem to have made a big impact.
Come back. You too.
Let me look real quick. 86 mercantile. Decreases the magnitude and duration of negative side effects in potions. Okay, so that one is like the least useful of all of them. I'm gonna wait one more day because I was going off on a tangent. So yeah, I think there are usually elements of execution and planning in any One Life that anyone does, but I think generally you can kind of categorize these One Life playthroughs as one or the other. And while there are a few parts of this game and Fallout 3 and Oblivion that require some execution, or sorry, Fallout 3 and New Vegas that require some execution, I think mostly it's planning.
What is it now?
Mostly it's plotting the course to your immense power.
Who will help?
Yeah, it was fun doing those challenges. Not only because you know, I was doing 100%, got to see like all of the game, but I wasn't fast traveling, so it's like this very connected journey. It's also why I don't want to fast travel here, is that I like it being more like a continuous journey instead of like, oh, I fast travel here, fast travel back, fast travel here, and it's like, I know it's kind of tedious to run back and forth, but it makes it feel like a more like cohesive journey rather than just like, oh, I'm gonna fast travel, just sell all this stuff and then fast travel immediately back and then continue on my way. Yeah, and I used to do that all the time when, you know, I was playing these games more casually, but I know it's something I really like about not being able to fast travel. Just makes it like a more grounded journey where you have to kind of plot your course better, because like technically after doing all this farming, I still have to walk back to the Imperial City and then walk back up to Frostcrag Spire, and something could go wrong in that, you know, in that short walk. You know, I almost certainly will encounter an enemy or two, so yeah, I mean, it's that sort of, you know, added tension, I think, particularly because I've just done so much, you know, preparation. I've done so much to try and get myself powerful, but I still have to make that walk. If I could just fast travel, you know, to Frostcrag Spire, it's like, you know, all of that tension is gone. So, yeah, the only time I'll fast travel is if I'm like stuck in something. There's a, I don't know if I mentioned this at the beginning, but I do have a physics death clause that is like, it doesn't really work in Oblivion. That's more for like Fallout and New Vegas. If, god damn it, it's only more if like I was like instantly killed while touching a car or something. Although I played those games enough to know not to touch the cars, so I didn't have to use it at all. That physics death clause, just because I would be really annoyed if I died to something like that after 80 hours in the game. But luckily, it didn't happen. My caution prevailed. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? Yeah, I think. What 3 New Vegas? What else was I talking about? Just mindless ramblings. Yeah, I enjoy Fallout 3 New Vegas. Runs quite a bit. I guess was what I was saying. Those are my favorite games ever. And Oblivion and Skyrim are right behind them. So I kind of wanted to really, I guess the motivation why I did any of these runs was that I really wanted to understand and master the mechanics of these games. I think, you know, I played these games a lot, and, you know, I've done several casual playthroughs, and I love them, and you know, their soundtracks, the ambiance, the memorable quests and moments, and, you know, the jank, and I love it all. You know, the bugs, the exploits. So I kind of wanted to challenge myself to you know, do a run, you know, do a playthrough where, you know, I had to do everything and I had to do it like perfect. And I think, you know, that requires like a certain level of understanding of the game's mechanics, you know, a certain understanding of, you know, the quests and, you know, the order to do them and things to be cautious of. It just really requires a deep understanding, and I think I knew a lot of it, but I think there's a lot that I've discovered while doing these runs in Fallout 3 New Vegas that I have really enjoyed. And yeah, I think that's what really motivates me to do these, is that it really helps, you know, helps me better understand these games that I love and that I feel like I understand very well, and it reveals new things about them. And that's one of the things that makes these games great, is that, you know, even in this casual playthroughs, I always recognized, you know, I don't think in a single playthrough, you know, in Fallout 3 or New Vegas, and certainly not Oblivion and Skyrim, I don't think there's a single playthrough where I went to every location or did every quest at the same time. I've never even done like a normal 100% playthrough. So, yeah, I've always been like, there's always more to find and more to see in these games, and I've always just kind of left it for another playthrough, which, you know, it's something I really enjoyed about these games, that there's always new things to discover, and even in this 100%, you know, the, I should have talked to this guy before he left. I know, so yeah.
Can I interest you
Even in this
some of my
100%,
ways?
you know, theoretically, I do everything. I you know, do everything that's in the game, but you know, the choices I make in terms of like loadout and you know what spells to use and how to approach the game, like there are probably like a lot of different ways combat-wise to approach, you know, you know, to approach, you know, any clearing any location, any of these quests. There's a lot. The way that you approach these quests, I think, also impacts the experience. So even in doing this 100%, I think there will still be stuff to enjoy about other playthroughs. You know, particularly if I do like a more magic focused playthrough, if I do like only magic, if I do an only like you know, unarmed playthrough, because I think that'll really change how I have to interact with the game. So even if I'm doing, you know, all the quests and going to all locations and 100%ing it in air quotes, I think there's still more to find in the game. Partly because there's also like random encounters, and when you encounter certain things, you know, do I get this, you know, lucky Daedric short sword to drop really early, or does it take 50 hours? That changes how I, you know, approach the combat in that intervening 50 hours. So just the random encounters and in the random loot that can, you know, impact your playthrough. So I think there's still a lot to be enjoyed, even on subsequent playthroughs, even if you have already done everything, you know, even if you've 100%ed it. I didn't make the potions. So that's why I'm doing it. So I really wanted to understand these games and master the mechanics of these games to the highest degree possible. You know, intimately understand them as best as one can. That's pretty much why I'm doing these. Mainly just because I love the games. I love playing them, and I want to know more about them, and I think this is a motivation to really learn about everything in the game and, you know, how to beat the game in air quotes. If there's a way to beat the game, overcome the greatest challenge of this game, you know, not dying on the hardest difficulty and doing everything. Yeah, I wanna figure it out. It's like a puzzle to solve. You know, in that sense, I think I do favor the kind of more planning focused One Life games to the execution, but really depends on what type of execution it is. For instance, I think Sekiro is like Sekiro might have my favorite combat system of any game ever. It's just so satisfying. Once you really get it down, the rhythm of it, and you know, not just the rhythm of it, but like how you can approach it, the versatile tools that you have in your tool belt. You know, I really didn't even use too many different shinobi prosthetics. So anyway, enough about Sekiro. I'm getting lost. I'm getting lost in the sauce. I'm almost done with this. Stay focused on this game. Yeah. So yeah, maybe I'm doing it just because I love these games. I think there's no real reason to do it One Life beyond that. Yeah, you either do it because you love it, or you know, otherwise there's no real reason to, because they can be frustrating at times and they can be slow at times. But if you know, if you really enjoy the game, I think it's very bearable. Although I can understand why the viewing experience would be pretty abysmal, particularly if all you're watching is someone accumulate thousands of gold. Okay.
Thank you.
Mercantile at 89. That's good. Let's wait. things are lining up. I will be out of here soon. This is not all I'll be doing. Hopefully it'll get at least marginally more exciting. But we'll see. We'll see. Oh, yes. Back to the other topic. I'm just gonna
How do you do?
keep on rattling off about these random subjects as I do this.
Become more dangerous than ever. Many settlers have been lost.
Okay, that was the first day. But the other topic was Elder Scrolls 6. I was musing about as I try and find a way to distract myself from the relative monotony of this. I think once I actually get into combat, I'll probably be a little more focused on what's going on, hopefully. Right now I have the luxury of just rambling on. Like the, wait, who sings Ramble On? Led Zeppelin? Is it? Oh, I have to look this up. Ramble On. Yeah, Led Zeppelin. Anyway. Not that that's particularly important right now. This is the last one. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, once I actually start doing the quests and clearing locations, I'll be a little more dialed in on what's happening. But idle hands are the devil's playthings.
Good afternoon.
Although it's more my idle mind than my idle hands. Hands are moving, but
I spoke to him recently.
my mind is elsewhere.
He really knows his way around.
Where's... Gosh, this guy goes for lunch.
Oh. Hello.
This guy goes for lunch too often. Well, I'll catch him on the way back. 4 more runs, it seems like. Although if I get to like 99 or 98, I might just try and craft a bunch of other potions and sell them. Take it to 100 mercantile. Now that is one thing I am interested in seeing once I get 100 mercantile. Is I'm pretty sure yeah. They always buy inside the items the best merchants have the best items that they have, offer the best items they have. That is a pretty important line.
Hello.
Because that could mean that Anglo, what is this guy's name that I keep talking to? Anglamo? Anglamo? Whatever his name is. He might sell Grand Soul Gems, possibly, with the 100 mercantile. Not 100% sure how the merchant offerings work, mechanically speaking. But it will be fun to discover, if it is possible. Sometimes it's, useful to look things up, particularly if it's a matter of me living or dying, but other mechanics like this, where it's like, I wonder if he sells this stuff, it's more fun to actually just go and test it out, if possible. Discover it for yourself. A lot to discover in these games. Which brings me back to the Elder Scrolls 6. So I already talked about combat. I would like the combat to be a bit more involved. I don't think it needs to be like crazy. I don't want it to go like the Dark Souls route. I don't want like invincible dodge roll. I think it's a fine combat system for like Dark Souls and like boss fight centric combat, but I think for the type of combat that you would typically find in Elder Scrolls against like creatures and against like random bandits and so on, and the undead, I think it needs to be, I think it should be a little different. I don't think that Dark Souls combat is universally applicable to any game. Yeah, because like I'm thinking like just running around in Dark Souls. Yeah, I played all the Dark Souls games. I haven't played Bloodborne. I played Elden Ring. Beat all the bosses in those games, and I gotta say the I mean the combat is unique and can be quite enjoyable, but I don't think like the inter-boss combat, you know, the combat of just fighting the random enemies in the area, is like really that enjoyable. Typically it's very gimmicky, like you got a guy standing around a corner with a dagger to push you off the ledge, you know. Not that it happens everywhere, but anyway, I'm just trying to think of systems of melee combat that would be good for the Elder Scrolls 6, and like I said, it doesn't have to be too different from Skyrim or Oblivion here, but I think just making the melee combat in particular, I think ranged combat, archery, crossbowing, it's gonna stay relatively the same. It just kind of is how it is. I mean, it's a fine playstyle, but I think it'd be more appealing to have like, you know, a more fleshed out melee system. You know, one that's like rewarding in a way, you know, I don't know, it's like maybe skillful, I think is the most important point. You know, like there could be parrying. I think that would be good because you have to make it, you have to incentivize it relative to being a stealth archer, or in contrast to being a stealth archer. Because stealth archer, you're safe, you do a lot of damage from the sneak criticals, you know, you can eventually get to the point where you're just like one-shotting things and you're not really in danger. So how do you balance the sword and board combat, and also the two-handed combat, or the dual-wielding combat? How do you make those playstyles like worthwhile compared to the stealth archer, which has become sort of the default playstyle, and reasonably so. I mean, like I said, distance is always the greatest defensive tool. Yeah, it's just how do you incentivize those sorts of playstyles? And I think making it like more skillful and, you know, rewarding skilled input, for instance, like a parry system, or you know, having like a dynamic blocking system where the enemy like swings from a certain direction, then you block it, and then that gives you like a riposte, like a bonus riposte damage if you block it successfully. Things like that I think are important. Important to incentivize melee gameplay and make it feel like more interactive, and to make it feel like it has higher skill expression. I think that's what people really want. To feel like, oh, I just, you know, blocked this guy, then blocked this guy, and then did like the block counter, and it gave me. Oh, another thing is they should keep the like special kill animations from Skyrim. Those are always really cool. The cinematic kill animations. I think people really like those, and you know, I think that also incentivizes using different weapons and so on, because they give different kill animations. But more than that, you need to really think about also like the axe versus the hammer, and you know, what kind of you know, you kind of lean into more unique identities for the different melee weapons. And I think this is really important because so much of how you interact with any Elder Scrolls game is combat. It really is so much about the combat.
Let's do business.
Not everything, and I think there's a lot to appreciate outside of the combat, but you will end up fighting a lot of things. It's just like inevitable, because there's so many creatures and bandits, and you know, I don't think the Elder Scrolls 6 is going to do away with bandits and creatures, you know, roaming around. It's a pretty core aspect of these adventures. So I think they need to, you know, really think about the combat system, because it really is important. And I think if it gets too repetitive or boring,
A fine transaction.
that's gonna hurt it, or it's gonna be a point of criticism, certainly. But then again, like I said, even if they have the Skyrim's combat system just in a new area with new quests and new things to explore, new enemies, new visuals, I think I'll be fantastically happy with that.
Come back and see.
Actually,
Goodbye.
let's see.
Have a
Do
look at
you
my wares.
have?
I'm sure there's something to suit you.
Do have one?
Goodbye.
Yeah. So I do hope that they take a look at it and you know, put some new bells and whistles on the combat system. Like I said, really think about the identity of the combat, of the different weapon archetypes. You know, sword and board gameplay should feel different than, you know, two-handed, and I think axes and maces should feel different as well. Not just in like the kill animations, but there needs to be something more unique about them. Certainly compared to this game, but I think also compared to Skyrim. It's been a while since I was just starting a Skyrim playthrough before this came out, so I haven't fully delved back into the Skyrim combat system, but anyway. Uniqueness to the playstyles, unique aspects to different playstyles, I think is the key. Yeah. Yeah, and I don't know. I mean, borrow from other successful franchises. I think also introducing some movement is fine. I mean, I actually don't remember if this. I don't remember if this was in the original. This little dodge roll or like sidestep. This is kind of clunky. It's fun to do, but it is a little clunky. I think they could also introduce something like that. But that doesn't really incentivize one playstyle or another, you know? That's also, it needs to be more smooth than this. It needs to be more reactive. Having to block in order to do it, or like I'm holding the block input and then hitting the spacebar in a direction. I like that you can go like any direction, but...
Sure.
14 soul gems. Did I wait long enough? Even I'm getting bored. This is a real grind. I'm gonna wait for 2 more days just to be sure. Okay. But yeah, I think the Elder Scrolls 6 will be fine. I don't think they're gonna go. I think Starfield, very experimental. Fallout 76, very experimental, by like nature of you know what they were doing. Fallout 76 was a foray into multiplayer online games for the Fallout universe, and how do you take Fallout into that sort of you know, into this multiplayer style game. And some people really like Fallout 76, particularly nowadays. So I'll wait 1 more day. So I think they're willing to move the game in the right direction. I just think that when they released Fallout 76, they didn't really know what they were doing, because it was really outside of, you know, Bethesda Game Studios' forte. Starfield was just too ambitious, I think. I enjoyed Starfield, although I haven't actually finished it. I put over 100 hours into it, and it's on the list. It's on the long list of games I am going to play or finish sometime. My main issue with Starfield was that it was too ambitious, and it lost the elements of, you know, it lost the identity of Bethesda RPGs. In the sense that by trying to make this, you know, massive, huge universe with so many locations, so many planets, you know, and it's all like procedurally generated, and you know, you have all these points of interest no matter where you land on the planet, like technically kind of an infinite game, or a near infinite game. I actually don't know for sure. You might be able to circumnavigate the planets, but I don't know if the locations are random or anyway, point being is that I think it was just too ambitious in terms of scale, and they failed to adequately detail it. I mean, it's so boring fighting going to this outpost, and it's outpost 4 that you've seen 50 times, and I've only played, you know, like after like 30 hours, you notice how repetitive it is. And then I will say that every once in a while you'll see like an outpost or a point of interest that you haven't seen before, and you'll be like, wow, this is so cool, and then it's going to be back to like 50 outposts that you've seen, you know, points of interest that you've seen a million times. So I think they were just too ambitious in that regard. I think Starfield could have been a fantastic game if they really reined in the scope, but I think they had this idea of what if you could really go out there and explore the universe, which is a tempting idea, but the execution just fell completely flat. And I think if they stuck more to what they're good at, what they're known for, which is like detailed environments and like memorable scenic views and, you know, just like a world with, you know, a massive world that also has a lot of like depth and, you know, detail and uniqueness. And I think, you know, Skyrim more than even this game, because a lot of, you know, okay, even in Skyrim, you know, they reuse assets to make, you know, different locations. I mean, the Draugr tombs and so on are definitely have, you know, reused assets between them, which is fine, because I think in Skyrim they did a good job at making the layouts unique, and I also think in Fallout 3 they do a good job at, you know, while they still definitely have reused assets, I think a lot of the locations are more unique, partly because they correspond to, you know, real life locations in some instances, but ooh, perfect, level 50. But yeah, so I think they need to go back to focusing on that, and I don't think Elder Scrolls 6 is gonna, you know, revert to a Daggerfall-esque game where it's procedurally generated towns, just and then there's just a massive, massive open world. I don't think they're going the Starfield Daggerfall route. At least I very much hope that they don't. I don't see the reason that they would. I mean, look how successful Skyrim has been, look how successful Oblivion's been, look how successful Oblivion Remastered has been, look how successful the re-releases of Skyrim have been, and also Fallout, and I think Fallout 4 still sold, I think Fallout 4 outsold Fallout 3, even if it wasn't as generally well received critically. I think people still generally like Fallout 4. I still really like Fallout 4. But yeah, I'm not too worried about the Elder Scrolls 6. I think they know the direction they need to head in. And I think that, yeah, I think that'll be reflected in the finished product. But we'll have to wait and see. Oh, dude, the light filtering in. God, I think that was just it's going to be a beautiful game. Because if they can slap this on to a 2006 game and make it look this good, I think they can, you know, I think that Elder Scrolls 6 is going to be a beautiful looking game. Unfortunate that it's taking as long as it has taken, and it will take for it to come out. But it is what it is. Hopefully we're nearing the end of that journey. Hopefully we are nearing the end.
How are you?
Doing pretty well, man. What else about the Elder Scrolls 6? I don't know. I really don't hold too many expectations. You know, I try not to have too many expectations regarding these games, regarding, you know, the next iteration of these games, Fallout 5 or Elder Scrolls 6. Mainly because I think if I start like theory crafting or, you know, just theorizing what these games are going to be like, I think then you kind of, yeah, you know what you want best, and so I'll imagine a perfect Fallout for me, and then if it's different from that, then, you know, it's just inevitably going to lead to disappointment. So I think the better solution is just to take it as it comes. You know, the better approach, rather. You know, I think there will be aspects of the game that I like, and probably aspects of the game that I don't like. But I think I'll overall enjoy the experience a lot. You know, I have pretty consistently enjoyed mainline Bethesda RPGs from, you know, from Morrowind up till now. So yeah, I mean, even Starfield, I think I enjoyed a lot more than the average person. So I have to do
You
the
never
DLC
know
for
when
that
you
as
might
well.
need a
I hear
good,
that
strong
is
potion.
more like a
Best to
return
stock
to
up now
the
while you
detailed
can.
environments, which is good to hear. I didn't make the potions. I am just...
Farewell.
I'm losing it. I'm losing it. I guess I didn't make the potions because he wasn't there before. I think I might go over my encumbrance limit, or my weight limit. What else? What else? Follow our Elder Scrolls 6. I think the location is supposed to be Hammerfell. I don't really have any preference location-wise. As long as it's detailed, as long as it's, you know, a massive open world, as long as they put the care and attention in the game that they usually do. I think that is all I care about. Make a couple of those. What else?
Well, can I interest you in some of my wares?
You can. So like 22 of these. How much does this? Oh yeah, 11 for 40. These are so much better than the normal Magicka potions.
That seems a fair price. A good price for a good customer. You got a great deal there.
All the potions I'll need right here. Store health, magicka, and fatigue. Oh, this makes me think real quick. Do I have... Yes, I still have these weak potions of sorcery. Really don't need these. I'll keep maybe one. Although I don't really see a scenario. I guess I don't have any Welkin stones yet, so I'll keep one, but very unlikely that I will need that. Weak poison of catastrophe. This is not good. It's not worth having. Okay. That's a really powerful potion. Is there any resist magicka? Fortify magicka. Provide endurance is actually not too bad. This would give me like a decent chunk of health. Let's see.
Another, you too.
95 mercantile. 95 mercantile. Let's see. I want to... invisibility. Okay, I can make invisibility potions. Very nice. I'm going to make a couple of those. Just in case. I've never really used invisibility, so I don't know if it breaks... Like if I use it mid-combat, if it breaks the aggression, if it stops the enemy from tracking me mid-combat. But worthwhile to have, just on the off chance that it does, or on, you know, I could probably just go be invisible almost the entire walk to and from. Actually, I don't know. If you're invisible and not crouched, does that still... Does that still mean that they can't track you? Who knows? Someone probably. Okay. 115,000. Mercantile. Okay, almost there, almost there. 2 more runs. Maybe... Actually, I might get 4 levels this time. In which case, I might try and push it all the way.
Good morning. Do you ever do any?
Might try and push it all the way to 100 and be done with it the next run. That said, I don't know how much I have to sell. I have to come up with more. Ingredients. I do have some saved up, but I don't really want to just make a bunch of things to sell. A lot of the ingredients I have because I want the potion effect. Yep. How show 6. I'm excited for it. I think it'll do well. I think a lot of the criticisms levied against Bethesda are pretty... I think people just fail to account for the fact that they are, experimenting with a lot of these last titles. Yeah, I think Starfield, they have to, look at and take some amount of, blame, or really they just need to reflect on that and understand where it went wrong. And I don't think it's too hard to understand. I think it was just... And it's a new IP with kind of an ambitious direction, and while it is a Bethesda RPG, it feels like Fallout 4 in space, but without any of the charm of the Fallout universe, and without any of the detail that made Bethesda RPG so fantastic. That's what it really feels like. Yeah. There were some quests I liked. The Terramorph quest. The very first Terramorph quest, where it's like hunting you in the style of like some... It was like a beeping tracker. It was like a horror game or something out of like Jurassic Park. Actually, did I wait for 3 days? I'll wait one more day. I'm pretty sure I did wait for 3 days, but I did really like that mission. That mission sticks with me. That first mission on the Terramorph quest line where you go to that base and everyone's like dead, and then you start hearing like the tracker beep, and it beeps faster when it gets closer to you. That one had a great like horror element to it, and the Terramorph was legitimately like a threat when I first encountered it then. Some of the damage scaling and all of that game. There's a lot of things actually to criticize about Starfield. Part of it is just that I always seem to be doing very inconsistent damage to things. And I can't tell if it's just all these random enemies have this built-in armor, and that's why, but it's also like a range thing. But then weirdly I'll like get a crit. I'll get a crit that'll just do like 50,000 damage. No, not 50,000 damage, but it'll do so much more damage than like the normal shots, and I don't know. Damage in that game is weird. The combat's not bad, but it's basically Fallout 4 with I don't know. It basically is just Fallout 4 with a different kind of weapon set, and I end up jumping more than I did with the jetpack than I did in Fallout 4, because I didn't really use the jetpack too much in Fallout 4. It's not nearly as or the jump pack in Starfield is, I think, much more fluid. Felt more fluid to use. Frost shield, shock shield, invis, dedication, endurance, store endurance, store luck. I don't really know what would cause me to lose endurance, that in the sense that I have to then restore it, but out of abundance of caution, I'm gonna grab these. I actually shouldn't buy these. I can make better shield potions, I think.
Good day.
Morning.
Let's double check. Although, wait, buying things, doesn't that also increase my mercantile? Your ability to get barriers of buying or selling goods. It doesn't really say. It might. It might. Let me see just to check. I don't know if I already checked this earlier. Okay, well, maybe buying that was fine. 24% for 88 seconds. So better than what they had, but I don't think I can make too many of them. I don't have any. I need potatoes. Potatoes are a very common ingredient that has shield effect. And then I also wanted to check, have I made restore health potions? Yeah, let's go ambrosia. I don't know if I've made new ones since I've got all my gear. Let's make a couple of those. Don't need too many. Yeah, I hadn't. These are almost twice as effective. Much, much better. This would heal my whole health bar right now. Okay. Okay.
Hello.
Have you had the
Last
odd
run,
noises?
hopefully, maybe. I also need to check. I need to check that one store.
Go ahead.
See if they have more jewelry.
We're in for some hard times.
If not, when I get back to the Imperial City, I can check there. Just grab some of the various alchemical ingredients.
A coin for an old beggar.
I'm out.
I can never tell if I've already given a coin to these people. Best to give them a coin. Do you have any jewelry? Just
I don't mean
any
to
jewelry.
impose, but I'm hoping
Yeah, I know. You want your daughter back.
Wares.
I will eventually do your quest. Just not now. Actually, it'd be better to do the quest after I get 100 mercantile, because then she bumps that up to... She gives you like 5 extra, I think. Although she might not do that if...
I would gladly let. I offer the finest goods and lowest prices in all. Take care.
Unfortunate. I need at least an amulet, but hopefully another ring as well.
Hello.
Have you ever been interested?
Starfield.
Hello. Yes.
I liked it.
There's much I can show you.
Acrobatics trainer.
Take care.
Just then my acrobatics got to 58. Jumping is feeling better. It's getting closer and closer to that high acrobatics feel as I level up. Okay. Now as my farming ends, I think it's time to think a little bit more about next steps. I've already mentioned it. A few times. But essentially, I need to collect the spells. I need to go back to the Imperial City, collect all the spells I need in order to craft spells to both level certain skills, but also to get to get what? But also I need a few spells that fortify acrobatics. Luckily I'm at 50 restoration, which is a kind of a break point. It allows me to craft higher level spells up to, you know, I think it's based on magicka cost, so it allows me to cast basically skills just below the breakpoint for 75 magicka, or 75 restoration. Anyway, each breakpoint of restoration allows a certain range of magicka costs. It allows you to cast spells in a certain range of magicka costs, I should say. That includes crafted spells. So it doesn't really scale linearly. It's really these breakpoints, 75 and 100. I think if I get to 75, I'm fine. Or not just fine. I think if I get to 75, I can craft some of the spells that I had in my other playthrough pretty easily. But I really need to craft a destruction spell that I can use to level destruction. Because I want to get access to weakness to poison and weakness to fire and weakness to all this stuff as soon as possible. I don't know if I'll be able to craft the weakness to poison and the weakness spells the first time I go to Frostcrag Spire, which is basically the goal after this. Go to Frostcrag Spire as soon as I collect the spells I need. Chant my armor, and then what? Then what? Well, I might go to Frostcrag Spire first, because I need to get spells that I don't think will be in the Imperial City. I need particularly drain skills. I think actually Skingrad has them, so it might be best to walk down and around. Is that the same distance though, basically? Down, up, up to get to there versus down, down, down. If I went straight there, I think this is a little closer. Yeah. If I went straight down there, it's a little closer than running straight across, but no path between these two towns. It's a little surprising. It's also surprising that there's a path here that leads just down to Leeuwin. I always felt like there should be another town, like right here. Otherwise this road really does not make too much sense. It's like, hey, I wanted to go down to Leeuwin, but I didn't want to stop by Bravo. Or Braville. Yeah, it's always been weird to me that this road even exists. And also this road as well, the orange road. What's this road called? The yellow road? Just named after colors? I guess this one makes sense. The gold road to the Gold Coast. The blue road to... Anyway. Actually, let me check. Hour and a half already. Wow. Wow. Do. I don't know. I might stop and just have this be the end of this episode. And then record episode 5. Maybe immediately after. I might take a little break. Thought I was going to go for longer, but I haven't really eaten much. And so I kind of need to do that. Getting a little lightheaded from the from the milkshake, my only form of sustenance. Yeah.
What is it?
Let me try and get to 100 mercantile first. Let me try and get to 100 mercantile, and then we'll see. Then I kind of want to see what level I am. I'm gonna do a quick little level up check, and then I think I'll end the episode. And maybe immediately record the next one, or just take a little break first. Let's make a few more of these. Anything else? Lettuce. Okay. Anything else I can use? Kinda wanna keep those. Okay, we'll see how my mercantile is. 300 potions.
It's my.
Save because I haven't saved it in a while.
You
Bartering.
never
I'm
know.
gonna
You
haggle.
might need a good, strong potion. Best to stock up now while you
Gonna
can.
bump it up a little so I get a little more bang for my buck. Okay, so he's fine with that.
You got a great deal there. That seems a fair price. An excellent bargain. You drive a hard bargain.
Not quite there. Maybe that? No. Didn't quite get there. What if I can just like sell and rebuy things from him? Just like buy this then sell it back. Probably can.
Come back and see. Farewell.
How close am I? I want to see. Mercantile, mercantile, halfway through 99. This might require another run. Let me try something.
What can I interest you in? I let that go too cheaply. That's a good deal. You drive a hard.
I'm losing a little bit of money, but 120,000 is way more than I needed or ever planned on having,
You drive a
so
hard.
I could probably sell things that are more expensive to do this more quickly. But I'm committed now. Minute to win it. Come on. Come on.
That's more than I
Perfect.
usually pay.
Perfect.
I appreciate. Farewell. Well. Only quality goods for sale here.
Always
What
get the
can I
best
interest you in?
prices. Always get the best prices now. I feel like the prices have gone down considerably.
You bought that for a. Thank you. Bye.
Bought that for a song. What I do want to see, I need to wait until his inventory resets. I want to see if at 100 mercantile, what I'm able to get from him. I gotta wait to see what his new inventory is. This also give me a little time to level up my resto. I think with the light armor training, I'm probably level 25 now. Because I think if I get to 23 naturally, I should pretty much be guaranteed to be able to get to 25. So I think 80 levels of light armor is at least a level and a half. So 23 and a half. We'll see. See if I'm there. Might as well check. I don't know what the merchant cycle is. I think it's a specific day that they reset. Possibly. Or 2 days in a week. He's not here. Okay, there you are.
Well, have a look around.
Do you have new
You won't
stuff?
find better prices in all Tamriel.
I can't tell really. I don't. Well, I think you do. I think, yeah. Dang, if I drank all 3 of these, I'd be immune to spells. This is a good spell. This is a good potion to have. It's also hard to craft magic resist potions, I feel. And like even decent alchemy, like 100 alchemy and decent alchemy gear. I think it's actually... Wait, he has no ingredients. That's so weird.
Another buy.
That's so strange. I'll wait another day just to be sure. I mean, that definitely didn't seem like the same inventory he had before. Let me check. Merchant's Oblivion. Doesn't really say, according to my quick look at it.
It's my... May I interest you in some of my fine wares?
Didn't reset yet. I'm gonna buy these 3, just as like an oh shit, I need to be immune to spells for 45 seconds. I have the extra money and it's good to have that as a backup in case I need it. Okay. Yeah, I don't know if his inventory reset. I think I probably won't be able to get... I don't think I'll probably be able to get Grand Soul Gems. I think it's level capped, even with high mercantile.
The Fighters Guild is recruiting again. Not a bad way to make some money.
Or it's level thresholded. You have to pass a certain level in order to get them to sell that. Let me go talk to the people around.
Hello.
I know who you are.
I would glad... Have a look at my wares. I'm sure there's something to suit you.
Silver Warhammer. I don't think they're supposed to be able to sell silver at this point. I don't think so. A level 3? That seems... I thought it was supposed to be... Yeah, wait. From vendors, it's actually 7, according to the wiki. But I guess, yeah, there's some interaction between level and mercantile skill that I think impacts it. Interesting. Very interesting. Doesn't really have anything I care much about.
Farewell.
Okay. Let me check. Let me check this other merchant. See Nia. And then I think I'm gonna end the episode there. And maybe take a little break and then maybe record another one. Seed Neas.
Palanir. Travel to...
The master quest.
Have a
Good
look
that I
at my
talked to her.
wares.
Really good that I talked
I'm
to them.
sure there's something to suit you.
Her inventory has not refreshed at all. I wonder if you have to do her quest in order to get her inventory to refresh.
You too.
Okay. Yes, I think next episode I head back to the Imperial City. I will probably check before that if there are any other spells I need from the Mages Guild here or from some other vendor. And yeah, once I'm sure that I can leave and there's no spells I need, I'll probably just run back to the Imperial City, buy all the upgrades for Frostcrack Spire, and then collect the rest of the spells I need. I think that really only entails going to Skingrad. I think there's like a armor stone, I think like down here, that'll give me the fortify attribute spell. So I really need fortify attribute, fortify skill, and drain skill. Those are the three things that I really need at this point. So hopefully I'll have those, or hopefully I will be able to find those relatively easily. It might require an expedition to Skingrad, which will be fine. Yeah. But for now, time to say farewell. Do I still have the alchemy effect on me? I do. That's funny. Okay. Next episode, I actually do something. Just 12 hours of prep, which isn't really done, but most of the prep is done. Almost ready to actually play the game. Okay. Next time on Dragon Ball Z.